Good morning, Gemma. So we are going to begin for the first 10 to 15 minutes with a samvad time, with any dialogue, question, comment, insight you wish to share. It's not necessary. Sharing is not a sign of ignorance. Sharing is not a sign of enlightenment. It's just an organic process. So just wanted to hold that space in case you wanted to bring up something. Arya, did you raise your hand? You'll have to unmute yourself.
So in the last class, you mentioned that our goal these Thursday mornings was to touch the essence. I presume you meant the essence of divinity, of our divine nature.
Yes.
And you went on to say that letting go of the superimpositions, these adiaropa, is essential for this system. That if we negate everything we are not, then we're left with what we are. And I understand that, and I have been working on that process, and I feel pretty confident that I have that I know what I'm not. And now, of course, the question is, how can I refine my perception to actually know what I am? How can I make a bigger tear in that time-space continuum that you mentioned last time? And I wonder what role chanting, so that's my basic question. And then what role chanting might play in this is also of interest in that potential of experiencing the divine directly, or at least a greater perception, a greater experience. I like actually experience of the divine.
Okay. So yes, the negation is presented, and with that, the knowledge of who you are, Satchit Ananda, is presented. And the scope of this verse will allow me to present certain information which will bring about a shift, both negatively and positively, within the recipient. And then time will strengthen that memory. And if there is additional learning, that will additionally support that learning. The ego is tenacious, and after knowing something, cognitively understanding it briefly, as if it is the ultimate truth, slowly the egoic identity takes over. And as a result, the knowingness becomes an intellectual exercise.
Right.
And as a result, repeat is useful.
Yeah.
If you study long-term Shastra, the Upanishadic text, you will realize that there is a lot of repetition in different ways. There are some basic constructs and then repetition. And the repetition is for the sake of remembrance. It's not rote repetition. It's very advanced, sophisticated persuasion until there is a complete resolution. And while an experience you all had, even while in the first few sessions, brief sessions, our goal goes beyond experience, because an experience of the divine necessitates the presence of an experiencer, which is the mind or the ego. Which is a great question, Arya, by the way, because we all begin here. So good thinking. And your question allows me to clarify. Our goal is therefore to not just experience the divine, which a lot of religions and metaphysical pathways promise.
Mhm.
Our goal is to remember our inner divinity, that you are divine. So you are not just a part of the divine, not just a spark of the divine, not just an image of the divine, not just a child of the divine. You are that ultimate Brahman reality. And that's a big leap that the
That's a big
wants
leap.
us. Huge leap,
Yeah.
because we all begin with the unworthy ego. And it is, and when it's uninstructed, it can be quite a rascal.
Yeah, it's really.
So we go from there. So we start understanding Rajas Tamas Sattva, we start understanding Ishvara, and then there comes a time when you don't just feel you don't just feel connected to Ishvara, but you become Ishvara, which is the goal, which is same as self. Yeah. So there are different kinds of liberation.
Yes,
And
yes.
so there is, when you are still, when the ego is still in the field of duality, and we are worshipping Ishvara, which we are asked to do, because Ishvara represents that ultimate reality outside us. It's not a person or a deity, it's like the ultimate reality outside us. So then various levels of liberation are to be born in the same dimension as that reality, to be in proximity of that reality, to take on the form of that reality, getting into the form of that reality, and then the final one, transcending even that Ishvara, to recognize the ever pure Satchit Ananda consciousness. So it's a huge leap of consciousness, awareness, to go from designing the reality as a deity, divinity, to transcending that and becoming that. And not everyone can make it, not everyone is ready, but definitely you can consider these teachings as the first sparks of curiosity to see if this is something you'd like to pursue. If you've pursued it in a previous lifetime, you would probably move deeper into it this lifetime. If this is your first lifetime being exposed to it due to that reality's grace, or that reality's timing more than grace, because grace is a very, religious concept, but that cosmic intelligent timing, you are being exposed to this reality, to this teaching, then, and it's your first time, what you'll notice is a commitment to want to come back to it, not from a peripheral way, but a true way, like a journey will begin for you. We don't know whether a person's journey, all they need is these 6 verses, or do they need 600 more?
Yeah.
All we can do is have those experiences, and then gradually let those experiences confirm to us that we're having these experiences because they are pointing to something divine within us. Yeah. I hope this helps you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's not a mental dimension. You have to transcend.
It's not.
Transcend.
It's
It's a totally different. Yeah.
Yeah. But what you can do, what all of you can do, is just go verse by verse and settle down for the journey.
Yeah.
and not try and make it happen, which happens to all of us. We feel like there is a goal and we have to get there. But for us, the goal should be more like showing up and closing our eyes and going into the purport of the teaching. So listening or reading, using the senses, then contemplating in the mind intellect, and then feeling in the deeper place. And that's the work we have to do. Yeah. Wonderful. Yes. So this is what a samvad feels like, where you've thought through and you ask a question. Invariably, there may be either a confirmation, yes, you are thinking, or here's a new way. Let me extend your thinking into a new purport. Okay, so we have more raised hands. Okay, so Rochelle, yes.
Good morning. I actually think that Arjuna had his hand first, but
It's okay. I just saw your name first.
I was contemplating on when you talked about the universe, it is not grasping, but we are grasping. And I know that to be true. I am grasping, and there's an anxiousness that permeates this grasping. And so I suffer because of it. And so I was contemplating, so I relaxed my grip as it's not necessary, releasing attachment. The universe and the world are here. I can trust its gravity. Gravity is Ishvara. This world is Ishvara. This truth, this awareness lessens my grip, and I can relax, rest. I can trust it. I can let it into this presence, into this ultimate reality. This gives my mind and body relief, stability, but I am still coming from a small self, I. But Shunyaji indicated that this is where we are on our path now, but that there is a far greater perspective, that the observer of all this, we are the observer, we are Shiva, we are Ishvara. So from your video, I replayed it, and it was this we will come to know. The knowledge of the inner Shiva will give you more emotional solace, but the truth, because you don't really touch it, but with a deeply rested mind, you learn that you are Shiva. This is a different experience beyond calming the mind. Conscious negation gives us separation, going into the truth of who we are, the observer, Ishvara.
Beautiful, Mananam. And I'll just add one line to where you said, what's that line about resting the mind? Read that again.
Mhm.
In the last paragraph.
Yeah. Yes. Truth, because we don't, okay. Oh, yeah. But with a deeply rested mind, you learn that you are Shiva.
Okay, hold that.
Yeah.
So with a deeply rested mind, Shiva reveals itself to you.
Mm-hmm.
This is the... So the beauty of Satchidananda, and this is to answer Arya's query also, and all of yours anxieties, when it is self-revealing.
Mm-hmm.
Once the noise and the disturbance, so you're waiting for something. One is something will self-reveal itself to you, but you're not even looking, so you miss it. And the other is it's so noisy and crowded, and you're standing in New York on the train station, what do you expect?
Mm-hmm.
But when it's all quiet, so you're still at the train station, but you detach from it. So the way to make it quiet is not to run away from the world, but to through negation of these things that are coming and going, and you then are rested, using Rochelle's word, and then it is self-revealing. So you get grace from within, blessed from within. Yeah. the knowledge bubbles up. And you might have had glimpses of that probably if you when you drop even from the first verse, you get glimpses of it, and where did that come from? Because it's within you. Okay. Yes. So continue contemplating. I just wanted to fine tune that one line. I don't have to fine tune all of it because these are your contemplations. Excellent work. Just keep contemplating. Yeah.
Thank you, Shunyaji.
Okay. Then we have Arjuna.
Yeah, Gemma. So let's see. Many thought right before this, I started to feel like a blender, that has many things being blended together, like some sort of Vedic smoothie is what I started to feel like. Meaning that, I'm really getting something's really happening about the circular curriculum coming around and around and around again and again. And deeper. So one of the things that's happening with me in these sessions is a whole different appreciation, understanding, experience of Shiva. Like, conventionally, I always think Shiva as like the destroyer. That's how I was originally introduced. And you introduced dissolution, and Yaropa, the position and taking away, and the real presence is absence, and all of these things are combining to give me the sense, or the experience, I should say, not just the sense, that in this dissolution, in this ongoing dissolution, is real presence. Is when we have this experience of presence, of now, of right now, this moment, which has its own really unique part. And that when I have that experience, I feel very, I don't know even what the word is. It's like there's a charge. It's almost like an electrical charge, but it's not a manic thing. It's just like a energy. I mean, that's the only word I can come to it. And
That's a great
thing,
connection. That's a great connection. Yes, that is why Shiva is known as the destroyer. And a lot of people, when they hear that and they say, what? God is destroyer? It feels so negative and pessimistic.
Right.
But it is the dissolution of what is not real, of what is mithya, what is false. So that's great. Regarding words like electric charge, etc., what I ask all of you is to be conservative about the adjectives that you bring on to your experience. And the reason is the mind is so tricky, Arjuna. So just be with that experience and go. You can call it bliss. Shivoham, Shivoham. Yes.
Well, the thing about bliss, I did look up the word bliss along the way, because the idea, the conventional idea of bliss is like, little term of philosophy. But really, one of the definitions is contentment. And I just thought that that's just a beautiful word for what we're doing and what you're introducing us, contentment, like just being with right now.
And even the word contentment, if you look at it in Sanskrit, then the word is santosha, samatosha, and tosha means tushti. So samatushti means becoming balanced due to inner fullness.
Yes.
Contentment is it's a divine Lakshmi trait, and it's like this unique. You have nothing. You don't have your fancy worldly goals fulfilled, circumstances lined up, and yet you become as if your cup becomes filled, and that is santosha. That is contentment, and that is definitely an experience that is achieved through negation
Yeah.
Understanding that negation is a pathway to clear out for what is the ultimate fullness.
Right.
And the Santosha and Ananda are beautifully connected. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. I just want to say one more thing. It's having a very profound effect on my relationship with my wife. We've been married for 30 years. When we got married,
Arjuna,
I
let's not
yeah.
talk about relationships.
Okay, that's fine, no problem.
I would
The last thing
prefer, thank
yeah,
you. I would
it's
prefer that though we tend to bring our relationships into our discussions because that's where they benefit. So there's nothing wrong with it. I
yeah,
prefer not thinking a lot about them and
yeah.
let this be only a classroom for the search between your ego and your Atma. Now go ahead, Arjun.
No, thank you. I get it. The last thing I want to say is a comment that you made about everything in your Prakriti is being borrowed from Purusha. That was so profound to me.
Very good
Yeah,
contemplation. Yes. Yes.
yeah. Thank you.
Wonderful. So we do not, in fact, if you were an order of monks in Vedanta, then you would be asked, who do you belong to? And you would only speak about your lineage, which I'm not asking you to do. And who is your father? Self. Who is your mother? Self. Who is your spouse? Self. Who is your child? Self. Atma Brahman, Atma Brahman. So that our ego becomes quiet. It's something we do in transactional reality. Arjuna is a husband, Shunya is a wife and mother. But in the absolute reality, we are that beautiful Atma, that beautiful Shiva, and it is an exploration of that. Yes. We have one room for final question, Marinella.
Good morning, Jema. So my contemplation, I listened to last week, satsang, and I've been contemplating on something that you said that really caught my attention, and that was the idea of using the negative to unveil our true essence. And so contemplating on this, because usually when we think of negative, it's just the word negative. It's something that it's not conducive or for achieving a goal or something else. And so contemplating on this, I realized this is a process of shedding, not adding, removing. And I immediately thought of attachments, of letting go of any kind of attachment if I want to get to that pure essence. And that pure essence doesn't need anything to be. It already is. It's a little complicated in my head to explain
And
it.
this is the insight. This is the insight. Everything else is a repetition of what you've heard. Good churning. And this is the insight you got, that the true essence does not require anything. It just is, while everything else borrows existence from it. Just like the whole dream of city, landscapes, forests, birds, animals requires you, the dreamer, to exist. Yes. So wind up here.
No, so that was my contemplation, still thinking about, okay, we're using the negative to achieve the positive, to unveil our true essence. That's, I don't know if I could label it as positive, as then I'm creating two opposing concepts.
Okay.
But
So negative and positive is only a didactic, schematic usage here. When we say didactic, it is being employed for a purpose. Because as students, as practitioners, as seekers, we begin in the transactional reality of polarities, negative and positive. Generally, from a religious perspective, we only think of God as positive, something we will gain. And usually, it is when we gain something that we feel better, right? But in Vedanta, it is the opposite. When we lose, when we let go, in using your word, is when we feel better, when we come closer to the truth. So remember that what work we do in spirituality, metaphysical journey, is opposite to how we behave in the transactional reality. In transactional reality, we are giving, taking, and mostly wanting to gain. Let me get this, let me get that, let me get this person, let me get this stroke, let me get this compliment, let me get this new teacup, right? Here we are letting go of our consideration of our identifications with these teacup and this person and all of that. Yes? Yes. So this is a good contemplation in perspective that, yes, we do the opposite and we still find the contentment and the bliss. Yeah? Okay,
Yes.
wonderful.
Thank
So
you.
now let us chant the second verse. And I wanted to briefly point out that please note how in the first word, the entire mind, body, sensory apparatus has been demonstrated as an adhyaropa, that it is a snake that has come over the rope, that it is a superimposition over the reality, and that you are in the first line, we negate the mind, the intellect, the memory, and the ego. In the second line, we negate the ears and the faculty of hearing, the faculty of tasting, the faculty of smelling, and the faculty of seeing. So we've kind of negated the sensory person within you. We've negated then the 5 elements, which is the building blocks of the body. So we've negated them to announce Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. So it's a quick reminder for the beginning seeker. These verses are taught typically not just to beginnings, they're taught to beginning seekers, but they are used by advanced seekers. So it's a quick way to remember, oh, what am I doing trying to sort out all the contents in my mind? I'd rather separate from it. And that's in the beginning as a psychological tool, it's helpful, but ultimately it leads you to discovering what was otherwise buried under these adhyaropas. Now the second verse. Nacha prana sanyao na vai panchavayu na va sapta dhatu na va panchakosha na va panipadam na chopasthapayu chidananda rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. So the second verse requires some familiarity with Ayurveda and Vedanta again. But there is the concept of prana or the breath. And we truly believe that this breath is the source of our life. Be aware of your breath. And if the breath stops, the life stops. But fact of the matter is that this breath is a very superficial phenomena. And many yogis have shown this, that even if you exhale out a breath and it takes several minutes before you inhale, this is due through the science of pranayama, life continues, consciousness continues. So I am not the breath. Pranas, I am not the vital airs, the prana sangya. Sangya means the what is known as prana. I am not that. I am not that vital airs, not just the breath, but whatever this breath is doing all over, I am not that. So while during meditation and other spiritual practices, we follow the breath and we calm the breath, it's who is we? Who's we who observes the breath? We are that. So go ahead and observe your breath. And you are the observer, you are not this breath. The seer is not the seen. One who is aware of a thing is different from that thing. So you are aware of prana, therefore you are not that prana. In the science of Ayurveda, Yoga, Vedanta, everywhere we come across the concept of Panchavayu, or 5 types of Vata, or 5 types of prana. So there is prana, like known as pranavayu. It controls the respiration right now. And apana prana, it controls the downward moving urges, excretory system. And there may be some downward moving urges within you. Then there is samana prana or samana vayu, which is going in circles in your circulatory system, in your digestive system, sorry. That is samana. There is udana, upward rising, as in speech, it rises from inside out, as in some thoughts, udana. And Vyana is circulatory. And back in the days, people knew this. This was common knowledge. Just like you have a circulatory system, respiratory system, excretory system, right? In modern biology, human biology and living organism biology. And this is a negation of all these systems. So you can even add to it, I'm not my kidneys, I'm not my liver, I'm not my heart, not my muscles. No, while all of these have an important role to play in the transactional reality, we have entire shastras dedicated to them. But in this work that we are doing, in the quest of our true self, it requires seeing through and setting aside. You can maybe go from the top of your head. I'm not my brain. I'm not my nervous system. I'm not my eye sockets. I'm not my you know. Literally, you can go down your organs from top to bottom if you want. I am the observer of these. So that's a very good exercise you can do. Then this verse talks about Sapta Dhatu. Sapta Dhatu means tissue and Sapta means 7. And according to Ayurveda, there are 7 body tissues known as Rasa, which makes up the skin, Rakta, which is blood, and then Mamsa, muscle, Meda, fat, Asthi, bone, Majja is the marrow, Shukra is the sperm. So none of these tissues are very important. Their health is important, but at this level, we are talking about some other ingredient that is not these ingredients. In the exercise for negation, we negate these also, one by one. The next word is Panchakosha. This is again part of yogic Ayurvedic anatomy, more yogic, where it is considered that there are that we don't just have this one body, physical body, which Western science and Western medicine and Western worldview requires as this is the body, one body. So they work on one body. We consider that this body has 4 more bodies. So what are those 4 more bodies? They are called sheaths. Sheaths is like in a sheath you keep a sword. So these are sheaths in which dwells the inner Shiva. So these are sheaths, these are coverings. And the first sheath is known as this body. It is made up of food. And it is known as Annamaya Kosha. Kosha is the word for sheath. I'm going to write it for you. Hold on. I thought I knew how to use this, but never mind. I will use the chat. Typically, it is used as one typically it is written as Anna Maya Kosha. There is no dash between Anna and Maya. But I wanted to show it to you for Sanskrit purpose that Anna means food. Maya means that which is saturated with food. You know, this body is a transformation of food that you've eaten now. And the sperm and egg is also a transformation of the food your parents ate. So this physical body is determined by food. That is why the science of Ayurveda pays so much attention on what to eat, what not to eat. This outer body is completely made up of food. It's not made up of your thoughts. So you can't simply think your way to thinness or health. You have to change your food, period. It's made up of food. And there's the outermost body. Then inside that is the second body, Prana Maya Kosha. You understand it is saturated with prana. And prana is not only breath, but prana is the animating quality to the body. The fact that the body is animated, it is not dead body, is because of prana. So the difference between a living body and a dead body is, does it have prana or does it not have prana? Okay. There is yet another subtler body known as Manomaya Kosha. Mano comes from Manaha, which means mind. So the mind. That's why when the mind is disturbed, prana is disturbed and body gets disturbed. And typically in my work, I work with all these three bodies, for example, together. Then there is Vijnana Maya Kosha. Vijnana also means, it has many meanings, but for here we can say intellect or buddhi. It's whereas mind, there is non-stop fluctuation at the level of Vijnana Maya, there are beliefs. Sorry, there is a typo in Kosha. It should be OSHA, not Kasha. Vijnana Maya Kosha. This is the intellect body where there is greater clarity. Then there is Anandamaya Kosha. Again, we are using Ananda or bliss body, but this is where novice people get confused and they say, your bliss lives here. No, bliss doesn't live here. This is not Shiva. This is not your Atma, but this is the place where you get some reflected bliss. It's your deepest body. That's why when you meditate for 10 minutes a day and 10 minutes in the evening, you hit this body. So you feel transitory bliss. This is not permanent state of bliss. And believe it or not, but these 5 bodies or sheaths are made up of subtle and subtle intelligent matter, and you are not that. So I will like to lead you through a brief contemplation on how you are not these. So you may close your eyes and become aware of your food body, its comfort, discomfort, its health, disease, its challenges, its blessings. Relax and realize that you are not that. Beauty, ugliness, age, youth, disease, health, you are beyond that. You're simply utilizing this bodysuit made of food. You animate it from within. You are the power, but you are not that. You are the observer. You've become aware of your body. In this physical body, there are the 7 tissues, skin, blood, muscle, fat, bone, nerves, sexual tissue. You are none of that. Simply an observer. Now become aware of the breath and the animations through this breath that are everywhere, the sensations. You're not like a rock. Everything is sensitive. That is the work of prana, flowing in and out of cells. Be aware of it, but you are the power that animates that. You are not that. Be aware of the mind, thoughts, feelings. You're not that. Some beliefs may be there, such as this is great, this is not so great, this is tedious, this is easy, this is exciting, this is dull. You are not that. And some of you may even be feeling a brief relief. And if it is brief, it's coming and going, then you are not that. Open your eyes. I recommend you sit with this distinction between a bliss body and the bliss truth of your nature. Sit in the distinction, do this meditation a few more times, and then bring up your thoughts next time. Moving on. The verse is clear that you are not the Panchakosha. Pancha means five, just like Panchamahabhutas, five great elements. So Panchakosha, you are not the Panchakosha also. Then you are not your speech. You are not the organ of speech. You are not the speech, these uttered words. Sometimes we become so convinced by what we speak and make it our reality. But speech is only an instrument of expression, of intelligence that is emanating from a different source, and we are in the process of discovering that source. It's not impossible. There's a method to it. We are on our way to it. So, vak means speech. Pani means hands. You are not what your hands are doing, moving around. And pada means feet. So all this movement of hands, of legs, and of your vocal cords. It's all happening due to borrowed consciousness, but you are not that. You're the observer. Then upastha. Chopastha here means, the word is chopastha. I will write it. Which is equal to cha plus upastha. There is another kind of movement in the genitals. There are entire spiritual traditions in India that have made the sexual energy the god. So easy. It is the most passionate movement of energy, so let's make it God. But in Vedanta, we even go beyond whatever is happening in the genitals. Chopastha. And then there is a last word, payuhu. Payu means eliminatory organs, especially the anus. So everything is covered. It's a very methodical separation. Nacha prana sangyo. So I'm not the vital breath. Nave panchavayu. I am not the five vayus, the five vatas. Nava saptadhatur. I am not the seven tissues that make up this body. Va panchakosha. Nor am I. Va means nor am I. Those five sheaths. But we are very associated with. Navak panipadam. Neither I am speech, nor the movement of my hands and legs, nachopastapayu, nor the movement in genitals and excretory organs. This whole machine has been negated. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. You can chant Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. I am indeed not the prana, nor the 5 vital airs, nor the 7 material components of the body, not the 5 sheaths, or the movement of speech, hands or legs, nor the genital organ, nor the anus. I am of the nature of pure knowledge, pure bliss. I am Shiva. I am Shiva. This is a continuation of the negation of all those important dimensions of the physical mental creature called the human being that help the gross and subtle bodies to function. But if you are the perceiver of the body and its functions, then you are of the nature of pure consciousness. So when we negate systematically and then then at the end of each verse we come back to the true essence, it helps the seeker see themselves as the seer in the midst of all these objects that are being seen. You are the illuminator in the midst of the illumined. You are the substratum of all this. And when I say substratum, I mean that you are pure existence. So Shiva, as I mentioned, is connected with the word Sat, which means pure existence. So when you think of yourself as prana, then you are no longer pure existence. Now you are pure existence plus prana adhyaropa. If you are the anus, then pure existence plus anus, pure existence plus genitals, pure existence plus muscle, bone, skin, blood. Now, for the purpose of the Leela or the divine play, they have been brought together, existence plus this. But as excavators of the true mystic essence, we are in search of the pure existence. And that is why cognitively, we are negating through these to arrive at the pure existence, minus these adhyaropas or superimpositions. That is not to say we chop off our nose, chop off our ears, damage our muscles or bones. That is ridiculous. There has been a false and unfair criticism of Advaita Vedanta that it is not friendly to the transactional human being, that it is not an affirmative, positive, spiritual journey. You know, let's look at Ayurveda. It celebrates the health and wealth of the 7 tissues and the 5 airs. And so it's quite contradictory to all of that, where it says, I'm not that. But this criticism is leveled unfairly because we are comparing oranges and bananas. Ayurveda operates in the transactional realm. Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, is a flight that starts in the transactional realm but takes off into the non-transactional transcendental realm. In the transcendental realm, we have to be willing to go beyond the body. In many religions, it is the body that dies, the body that resurrects, the body that is banished or made pure. But in the Vedic tradition, the body is seen only as an instrument, uh, a carrier, a transporter, an expressor, the body-mind unit. This living being is only a mithya. And so we introduce the word mithya here for those who are new. This is an important word that you'll have to have on your fingertips. Mithya means qualified reality. So it means not true, not false, somewhere in between. That's what mithya means. Do not look up its meaning on the internet because it's wrong. It does not mean illusion. That is what most people, probably the first people who translated the Upanishads wrote, and then it became the wrong knowledge. It's not an illusion. It's like there is a rose that is blossoming in front of me right now. I can see through the window here and I'm looking into my backyard. And though we are in November, due to climate change, we still have huge big roses in our backyard, which is so tragic. Now, the rose is here now. Where was the rose earlier? It was part of pure existence. Then it emerged. But then it will dissolve again and disappear back into pure existence. So it only has a temporary reality. And things that have a temporary reality, as in this body. This body is here, it feels so real, but it will dissolve. All of us alive right now, in 30 years maximum, we will all not be here. We would not be here. We were not here earlier, we will not be here. We may come back because we are part of the eternal Shiva, but we may not come back as Acharya Shunya, as Marinella, as Janya. We won't come back like that. We are temporary phenomena. We are like waves in the ocean. No wave is the same. When a wave rises, it has a wave identity. But when the wave resolves back, it is only ocean. So whatever has a temporary existence, a temporary identity, is mithya. Now, within me, there is this body, mind, ego complex with a story, with a life purpose, with challenges, with gifts. This is mithya. The part of me that is Shiva, that is Atman, that is Brahman, is eternal. That is, the second word is Satyam, or Sat, which is equal to eternal. These are two words that are very important for Advaita Vedanta, is Satyam and Mithya. Mithya is that which is and may not be forever. So anything, because in Vedanta, anything that does not have continued existence is then only a flash in the pan. There are, if you go for a walk, you will see all mithya around you. You know, neighborhoods also change. Grasses change, birds, bees, everything that you are seeing will not be shortly. So cells, they die, blood change, everything is changing. Even this body, in this moment, nothing is steady. It is going through the changes. So it is mithya. That is why all that you see with your eyes, all that you hear, all that you taste, all that you touch, everything is mithya. Everything. Only the observer is Shiva, Atman, Brahman, Ishvara. So the traditional word is Brahman and Atman. Shiva is a poetic word used here. Sometimes it is used for Atma Brahman. But the actual word is Brahman. That is why Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Brahman is the ultimate reality, and Jagan means all that you see through your five senses. It is all mithya. That is why something that happens to a Vedantic student is this recognition that what am I grabbing? What am I grabbing? It's all mithya. What am I hoarding? It's all mithya. What am I protecting? It's all mithya. So Advaita seekers become quite literally self-possessed. Now, this is again a misinterpretation of Advaita, that because they are surrounded by mithya in their body, in their being, in their family, everywhere, they are passive, or they are not dynamic, or they are not passionate. Actually, they are. If they truly understand it, if they have the right teaching, the understanding of mithya and satyam, or mithya and Brahman, is not to fall asleep in the world of mithya, but to play, to realize that the higher order of reality dwells within you. Do you see how it can be liberating? Even the Buddha has said, everything shall change, everything shall pass, right? We get consolation. So Buddha said that because, I don't know why he said that, and I don't know if he said that because there are a lot of Buddha teachings in the world out there, which we don't know if he said it or not. There are a lot of teachings ascribed to great people, but I can imagine that he would say that. But when we understand that Brahma Satyam and that Brahma is the inner Shiva, then everything is mithya. So what all have we, in my final teaching today, what all have we seen as mithya? Let's go back to the text. We have seen mana, mind, buddhi, intellect, ahankara, ego, memory, chitta as mithya, changeable. We have seen ears, the faculty of hearing, faculty of tasting, faculty of smelling as mithya. Whatever it is bringing in, it itself is mithya, and what it brings is mithya. We have seen the five elements, they build up, they decay, they change as mithya. We have seen today prana, the vital breath, the five vayus, the panchavayus, the seven tissues, the panchakoshas, the hands, the legs, the genitals, the excretory organs as mithya. And we have not fully unpacked it, but we know that there is something more, which is the observer of all of this, which is the real me, which is Brahman, which is Atman, which is also known as Shiva and Ishvara. So this is the basic distinction that we are making, not to feel weakened in our journey while we are in this mithya world, but to begin to understand, just like in the dream world, we begin to understand it's a dream. And that's when we have the power, don't we? When you recognize the mithya jam around you, that's when you, the real Shiva, have the real power. Now the mithya ghosts can't get you. Now the mithya death, the mithya disease, the mithya cancer, the mithya betrayal, the mithya disappointments don't get to be snakes that bite you with poisonous venom. Now you become steadfast within your own inner satyam. These are some Sanskrit words, but we repeat them so then you become familiar with them. But if I say satyam, I mean Brahman, I mean Shiva. Clear? Yeah. Now, when something is mithya, this is again a misinterpretation by neo-Vedantists, by new teachers of Vedanta who've not gone into Shastra. They will say the world is an illusion. You can walk through the wall if you want to. It's not true. In the dream, if you find a wall, it's a wall. Okay? But in the dream, you can do things with it. But in this dream, this is a time and space dimension is fixed. You can't just walk through the wall saying, oh, that's mithya, I am inside me, I am satyam, so I just walk through the wall. No, you'll have to obey the time-space constructs of this waking dream. And what you must observe with your eyes and with your mind and your intellect is, look at all the mithya. Wow, look at all the roses, they'll soon fade away. Look at the winter, it will turn into spring. Look at the people, they will change from good to bad. Look at the loyalty, it will soon change to betrayal. And the betrayal will change to loyalty again. It's all changing. And look at this body. It was young, it was a one cell, then it became a baby, then an infant, then a teenager, then an adult, then it will die, then it will change clothes again. Look at all this change. This is all mithya. When we recognize all this mithya, the recognizer then recognizes that if I'm recognizing all this change, there must be something steadfast within me to recognize all that is changing. And that unchanging seer is Shiva. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Okay. So what are we doing through negation? We are negating the mithya and we are reclaiming the satyam. That's what we are doing. So with that, we close today. I will see you next week. Jai Ma.